Hey, what is going on, guys? So today's kind of quick video is not necessarily a quick fix, as we're not fixing anything, and it's not really even any sort of tutorial either. It's just basically think of this as just an experiment that I just wanted to share with you guys. So I've recently been working here on the Pokepla Quick Mew kit. If you guys saw my review of this kit, you saw that it did have a bunch of seam lines all over the place. So I've just been working to remove the seam lines. So those are all cleaned up now. No more seams on the head, the arms, the feet. All basically it's just one big solid piece now. So later I'm planning to have this mounted on a base, just like floating, so I'll have to drill a little hole here just to set it up on probably like a clear rod to make it look like it's floating. So that'll be fun. But what we're working on today is making a custom effect part for this. So I've just got a piece. This is just some like, I think this was for some strawberries, just any kind of like thin clear plastic should work for this. And I've seen other builders do this on Twitter, and I've wanted to try it out, where basically just have a thin piece of clear plastic like this, or it can be from anything. You could actually use clear plot plate if you wanted to as well, but I think just using something like this just out the trash could work perfectly well. As long as it's thin and clear, you're able to cut that should be fine. So basically the whole idea is that you cut a shape kind of in the general shape of how you want your effect part to look, and then you can melt it a little bit and have it, you know, kind of more twisted and like sort of like fiery looking. So some sort of like aura effect basically that you can create by just kind of melting it a little bit with a lighter carefully, obviously, of course. So it seems simple enough, and obviously I don't expect to perfect it here today, but I just wanted to try it out and see if I can just make something kind of simple to use here with this Mew for just a cool little effect bar. And then I can paint it with some clear color as well too, like some clear purple or something like that on that. So it should look pretty cool. And then I figure since we're here, we'll also try it with something Gundam related as well too. So you guys remember recently I reviewed the HD00 Sky Mobius kit, and the big Buster Sword for that doesn't have the effect part, so I thought we could maybe try making a simple kind of a little effect part for this as well too, sort of like simple like flame looking effect part, or sort of like anyway beam aura sort of coming off of that as well too. We'll try it out. So what I'm thinking to do here for the Mew is that I want like a kind of larger sort of effect aura sort of looking part behind it, and then a little bit up in the front as well too. So, and I want it to be kind of curved underneath, or two separate pieces, but rather than making it two separate pieces, and then I'm wondering how to mount it, because then I have to, if I want to have them floating, I have to figure out, do I want to in some way pin them to the kit or pin them to the base. But I wanted them to look, you know, as much as possible like it's actually floating and not actually connected to anything. So I had thought to just make it all one solid piece, you know, larger in the back and smaller in the front, and just like curved underneath, connected, and then I can drill a hole in the curved part where it matches up to line up through the base, like where the rod is going to be connecting the kit to the base, and then that hole will also go through the effect part that will hold that up in place as well at the same time. So that's my idea. So basically what I'm gonna do here is just kind of sketch out a general kind of flame-ish shape of how I think I want that to look around here, and it's just a matter of cutting it out and melting it basically. So let's check it out. So generally something like that. I couldn't change my mind later on, but let's just go ahead and cut this out and get to work with it. Alright, so there we go. That's all cut out roughly so far. Now it's just a matter of melting it. So obviously, guys, I need to warn you, of course, anytime you're working with fire or something like this dangerous, just be careful. And also, I found that when you have the flame too close to this, as I did an experiment, just one test one before as well too, when you have the flame too close, it will actually, when it's actually starting to burn the plastic, not just melt it, it will like make the plastic turn white, so you want to avoid that as well too. So the key is to get the flame on there and just not too close, and under there just for long enough so when the plastic starts to curl, you'll see when it starts to melt, it'll start to sink down and curl a little bit like that. You can see it starting to move, and then you can kind of touch it and form it. It's not too hot to touch, you know, obviously you're not gonna grab it, but you can form that and start to kind of form the shape of your whole effect here. So basically it just takes a while, and you can only do a little bit at a time. You just kind of have to keep working it until you get it to the shape that you want. So it just takes a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and work with this a little bit, and then I'll see what we can do. Alright, so after a little bit of working with this, and unfortunately did burn that a little bit, so I'm gonna try painting it. If I paint it and I just don't like the way that it's looking with that white bit in there, but I think I'm gonna use a little bit of white paint and a little bit of clear purple and stuff, and we'll just try to make it work with that. If I'm not liking it, I'll have to try again. But for now, I mean, generally the shape I think is looking pretty good. So like I said, I'll drill a hole right down through there, so that'll go through the same hole that the kit is rested on, and then it will look something sort of like that, which I think should look pretty good. So basically just the thing now is just to go ahead and try putting some paint on that. But I do also, like I said, want to try out one here on this sword piece. So I'm gonna trace the line where it's gonna be connected into there, and note where the holes are, where it needs to be plugged in. Now it's not gonna fit in exactly, we're gonna have to do some gluing, but there's a hole here and here where that's meant to plug into. So something like that. All right, let me go ahead and just once again cut this out and we'll give it a try. All right, so definitely messed up this one a little bit too, but this one's just much more of an experiment that I don't plan on using for anything, but just for in case you wanted to do something like this, just to demonstrate how this could be used. That fits in there. It's a little bit loose at the moment, but like I said, this is something you'll have to glue because the thickness isn't right for this peg hole in there, but at least you can get the idea of how you could make a sort of effect part, something like that, and just kind of for anything too, for like Victory 2, Wings of Light kind of thing is what I've seen it used for before, this same kind of thing. So I'll have to do some more experimenting, you know, with this in the future, but for now, I want to paint this one here for my Mew and see how it looks. Well, alright guys, here it is. So I think this is probably going to work out pretty well, I suppose. I used a little bit more white paint, just kind of around this area a little bit up here, just to kind of hide the part that was white from the burning on there. And then I didn't have any clear purple, actually. I thought I did, but so I had to use a mix of Gaia Notes clear blue-green around here on these parts here, just kind of around everywhere, but kind of mostly focused around the bottom area, and then some Gaia Notes clear fluorescent pink. So fluorescent blue-green and fluorescent pink. Fluorescent pink obviously focused more around the top, and then just kind of over the whole thing to give it a little bit kind of purple, but you can see some kind of mix between the blue and the pink a little bit. So I think it came out pretty good. So basically what's left now is just to finish painting the kit, or start painting the kit, paint that, and then mount it up on the base. And then once it's all done, I'll show you guys how the finished result end up looking all together. But that's just a simple look at how you can make just something like this, and not like the best looking thing in the world. And this is basically the first time I've ever tried this, but for just you know, an experiment, it's going to work out well enough for my purposes today. But I encourage you guys to try it out for yourselves, you know, carefully, and definitely share your results, how it turns out for you. If you end up making something cool, share that and let me know. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys all later. Bye bye.